Hello, everybody, and good morning. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. We'll get started in just a few minutes. Hello, everybody. Good morning, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar. We still have a few participants trickling in, so we'll sit back for just a few minutes, and we'll get started in just a few. Thank you again for joining us. We'll get started in just a few minutes. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Jackson Root. I'm the Content and Creative Marketing Manager at DTEN, and we have a really great webinar ahead of us this morning. So today we are talking about the flexible hybrid office. We're going to go through a number of new tools and new ways that you can engage your employees, engage your teams, and make sure that you're making the most of all of your spaces in the flexible hybrid office. So before we get started, a couple of housekeeping items. We have disabled chat for this webinar, but if you do have any questions throughout the presentation, please direct them to the Q&A function. We will address quite a few of them as we go, and then others we'll go through at the end. So joining me this morning, we have Scott Krickerberg, our Head of Strategic Alliances at DTEN, and Mark Berrigan, the North America Zoom Rooms Manager at Zoom. So thank you again, everybody, for joining us. Let's go ahead and get started. So we will be talking about a number of new things this morning. And so just a quick disclaimer here, some of the new features that we'll be going through may change a little bit before they actually release, right? We're looking at a lot of new features that are coming ahead of us. So to keep that in mind, we'll be going through a number of very exciting new features and functions that aren't quite available yet. With that, Scott, I'll kick it over to you to talk about our agenda today.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jackson. Mark, appreciate you being here, sir, as always. Definitely looking forward to today's webinar. As everyone knows, we are all kind of in the plans, we're in strategy, we're talking about how we can be flexible with our workers in returning to a hybrid office environment. So as we go through the agenda, we're going to talk about some use cases that should be key considerations for your new hybrid office environment. We will also talk about how you can design your spaces and your solutions and choosing the right devices to be flexible, to make it easy on your employees, so the adoption stays really high, the engagement stays really high. And we have some great solutions that allow you to deploy that. Last, just collaborative experiences. So that's really a big goal when you have a hybrid environment. You have remote workers, you have workers returning to the office at their own pace, on their own schedule. So empowering them to be able to collaborate is a really big point that everyone's looking at on how to achieve as we learn to move forward and work in a hybrid environment. And then last, Q&A. So we will be keeping an eye on the question and answer section of the webinar throughout as we go through the slides. And then at the end, we'll make sure to wrap up as many questions as you guys have. So once again, appreciate you being here today. And I think we have some exciting stuff to show you and talk about. So first, DTEN and Zoom. We have been partners in collaboration since 2017. DTEN makes some fantastic Zoom certified all-in-one devices that are truly innovative. So they're purpose-built with Zoom engineering from the design phase as a joint solution to really empower you to deploy all that Zoom Rooms and Zoom has to offer. Our development teams, our engineering teams are working side by side. So all of these devices and solutions are completely optimized for the best Zoom experience. And then we are known for industry leading value. Our price points are highly competitive, which allow you to deploy more rooms, video, enable more spaces, but keep things very simple and intuitive for everyone interacting with both DTEN and Zoom. So we're excited to show you some new stuff, how you can utilize these devices in Zoom Rooms together. So let's get started, Jackson. So why the flexible hybrid office, right? That's why we're here today, is kind of to talk about why that need is here and what requirements have changed post-pandemic. So really flexibility is at the top of the list. Multi-use spaces, being able to have the facilities that you already have, but upgrade the technology and give your employees access to these tools to collaborate and communicate in any sort of space. Next is a consistent experience. So as you have a hybrid team, you have workers at home, they're returning to the office, they're working from home back and forth, and really a consistent experience is what's going to drive user adoption. So they'll be more involved with your technology. You'll have more meeting minutes. You'll have more collaboration if that experience is consistent across devices. And DTEN and Zoom Rooms definitely bring that to the table. Next is enhanced productivity. So with collaboration technology, there's tons of stats on how productivity goes through the roof, especially collaborative productivity. Inclusion is a big point that everyone is looking at, right? So for remote teams, members and guests, how do we get them to feel included? How do we get them to contribute and collaborate with other members that are also remote or back in the office?
And by the way, just really quickly on that, I think prior to the pandemic, the inclusion portion of this was always overlooked. I think a lot of our clients just felt like, okay, if you're at home, you're just not going to get that optimal experience. And, we've all adopted video, and moving forward, everyone keeps telling us the same thing. Now, this is just a normal working environment, which is the hybrid workforce. And so inclusion is of utmost importance to all customers now. And we've done quite a bit of work with DTEN, and some of the upcoming features that we're going to be releasing with that team is just quite impressive what we've done there. So no longer is the home user a second-class citizen. They must be included, like Scott's saying, and we must make sure that they have equitable experience when working from home as well. So we've done a great job over the past 18 months, we feel, to bring those types of collaboration activities to the market.
Absolutely. And then safety, of course. So always keeping safety top of mind for your guests coming into your office environment, and also your employees, and how to keep them productive, engaged, but safe at the same time. So the new office, we have some stats here. 62% of people polled rank a quiet professional environment as an important reason to return to the workplace. But even more than that, 76% rank connecting with coworkers as an important reason to return to the workplace. So there's still this kind of 50-50 mix, Mark, right? Where we have the tools and solutions to connect coworkers without that kind of return to the workplace hanging over their head. There's a lot of ways we can get each other to contribute, to collaborate with not necessarily physically being in the same space. So I think that's some things that we're doing really well, is to kind of shift the mentality of how you can deploy this solution, and truly how simple it is to kind of stay on top of productivity and inclusion.
Yeah, that's why today we'll talk a little bit about where we're going with the whiteboarding features, right? Because in the past, we felt, we designed it in such a way that it was kind of a static whiteboard, like we're all in the same space, collaborating on this one piece of hardware, which is a whiteboard. And now we really rethought that as to, I could be anywhere with an iPad, or I could be in the office with a DTEN All-in-One. So how do I continue that workflow moving forward? Then also add more capabilities, because we know there's some great tools out there like Miro and Miro that have done a great job on keeping a consistent workflow going. So we've taken some cues from those types of applications out there on enhancing our whiteboarding capabilities. And just like you mentioned, Scott, in the past, would say that collaboration in general was video collaboration specifically was a nice to have, and if you could do it in a subset of your rooms, it was great. But now we're hearing we need to video enable all of our workspaces, as well as all conference rooms, which is a different mindset we're seeing from customers than in the past.
Absolutely. So with that, designing for that flexibility and easy connections, right? Let's kind of dive into that on how we can achieve that. So, one very powerful use case that we're seeing is Zoom's virtual receptionist, right? So we've taken our 27-inch DTEN ME, this all-in-one device. Zoom Rooms has come with a fantastic room type called Kiosk Mode, which will allow you to interact with a virtual receptionist, interact with a help desk, reach out to someone who might be remotely, so they're not physically in that same room. And then some of the advances to that kiosk mode are really mind-blowing on what you're doing to help enable these companies safely return back to an office environment. So I love this video of you. We're in Zoom headquarters. We're in San Jose. This is a real set of use cases that Zoom has deployed in their own office to show how powerful and easy some of these solutions really are.
Many of our customers over the past 18 months have said, Zoom, what are you doing to safely return us to the office? And also, how do we excite the employee base to want to go back? Everybody got used to the hybrid environment, working from home remotely. But now as we go back in the hybrid environment, we've done some really cool things here to enable that once the Zoomies start returning to the office. So we want to share that with you guys today. All the stuff that we've done here, we collaborated with the DTEN team in order to make this possible. And again, like Scott said, we need to make it simple, right, to deploy these things. They can't be complex integrated rooms. That's another thing we're getting from our customers is we need to have simplicity so that we can scale this. And I would say that, I think we've accomplished that with the Zoom and DTEN team. So we're going to give you the experience right from when I walk through the actual front desk here, the front doors here at Zoom headquarters. And you're going to notice some really cool things, whether it's a Zoomie or it's an actual visitor. So let's take the tour. So as I walk through over here, the first thing you're going to notice is that we normally have a live receptionist person here up front. Well, today, guess what? Our receptionist is working remotely. So basically what we have here is the DTEN ME. And what we're doing here is we have it in what's called kiosk mode, running virtual receptionist application. So right when I walk in, again, whether I'm a customer or I'm a visitor, I simply come over here, click on the button, and what's going to happen is it's going to go find me a receptionist in the background. And basically what's going to happen is here we go. So, hey Mona, how are you?
Hello.
Hey, I have a group of webinar folks here that we want to just take into our office. Is that okay if we visit here today?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mona. See ya. So how cool was that? I clicked one button, and just like that, I was connected to Mona.
Yeah, and I'd just like to mention on that video right there how powerful it is to walk in and do that. And that was Rev 1 of our software. So later this month, early next year, we're releasing phase 2 of our virtual kiosk mode, where we'll add more buttons. So we thought one button would be enough, make it super simple, but we got a lot of customer feedback saying, hey, what if we had a delivery button there, right? So someone from UPS or FedEx walks in, we click on the button, they click on the button, they get right over to shipping and receiving. Corporate directory is another popular one we're being asked. So instead of going to a virtual receptionist, click on the corporate directory, I could dial that person directly. And of course, we can still have the virtual receptionist there. That's just one of the things we've done with virtual kiosk. And then also we're getting a lot of requests for, hey, we use this in our IT Genius bars, right? So if that IT person can't be there that day, they also could work remotely. So a lot of cool things we've already added to the virtual kiosk, virtual receptionist application, and a lot more to come.
Yeah. A couple of really fascinating things that I've seen, customers deploying this anywhere from, getting an expert anywhere in the world, right, on the line instantly. I think that's a very powerful tool. Anyone in your organization that is an expert in their field or a solution, with one tap, you can reach out directly to them and get the advice, get the support that you need. And then on the other end, even as simple as a portal for delivery people, lunch delivery. So we've seen customers utilize this because the price point is so fantastic and the technology is so powerful. They literally have a virtual receptionist just to grab, your DoorDash and your Uber Eats orders, and they can simply tap a button and say, here, I'm here to drop this off. So a huge spectrum of applications that we've seen for this, and just the creativity of our joint customers, continues just to keep me engaged and exciting because of all the solutions that they're using this for.
Real quick, so a question got asked is, with the DTEN ME, do we need a brand new DTEN ME or a Pro in order to enable virtual kiosk? Absolutely not. Any of the DTEN MEs you purchased in the past, all you got to do is get them up to the latest firmware. In our Zoom portal, you have the capability of running the DTEN ME in either Zoom room mode or kiosk mode. So you go in there, you configure it, super simple, all UI based. You don't need to know any specific code, in order to enable this. No shell scripts or anything like that. Just go right in there. You can upload graphics, customize the button, customize the colors, all on brand new DTEN MEs or existing DTEN MEs you might already own. So,
Absolutely. Great point. So to wrap up, our virtual receptionist here, it's safe, it's contact free, it's a portal in between, two people that need to communicate, and the sky's the limit as far as your creativity here that you can use for virtual receptionist, deploy that remote expert, or greet your guests from anywhere using Zoom. So very
and
powerful.
by the way, there's a Visa mount, as you can see there in the stand on the left there. So the question was asked, do we have a mount? And absolutely we do.
100%. So DTEN has specifically worked with Urban, which is another certified hardware partner in the Zoom ecosystem, to make that fantastic kiosk stand that you see there in that graphic, as well as Mark said, we have Visa mounts, so they can be wall mounted or attached to any sort of frame or structure that you might already have in place. Great point. A little bit into the forward looking part of things, right, Mark? So this is something I'm really excited about, is just the new versatility of this kiosk type of setup on not just a DTEN ME, but even a DTEN ON, and some future looking products that we're currently developing to help deploy this full solution, whether you're returning to a full office or just on that floor. And what I think is a great thing that you guys have developed with the application is this way to reserve your space, enter that environment, get your work done, and then release that to the next person. And we're seeing this type of philosophy happen more and more. It's definitely picking up steam, becoming more and more popular. How can our people share these devices? And if you want to add a little bit of color there, I think it's what you guys have seen and what really drove you to update this kiosk mode into something so powerful.
Yeah, thanks a lot. So right there, right off the bat, you're going to hear something called Zoom Workspace. Zoom Workspace is where we've added the ability to go ahead and, you heard you heard basically things like hot desking and hoteling. That's what we're calling our workspace reservations. So you can walk right up to an existing DTEN ME, which is in kiosk mode, and you can either call the receptionist you're seeing here, or jump into Workspace and you get a floor plan. You could reserve a space right on the spot with a simple QR code. So how powerful is that we can work on the fly to be able to do this? And also, this is stuff we've added to existing hardware. So the cool thing here is we're not saying you have to go out and buy the latest DTEN ME or the DTEN all-in-ones, the 55, 75-inch screen. So, if you want to have this in a simple 27-inch screen right when you walk into the office, or you want to have a large 75-inch, you could walk right in. I normally reserve the spaces that I want to use before I walk into the office. However, if I forget, which I do sometimes, I could walk up to one of these devices, see the floor plan. I can see in real time what's available, what's not. Go up to it, click on it, and reserve it on the fly. So that's the difference. Is we can do this on digital signage, right? With just kind of seeing what's available. But the magic with the DTEN all-in-ones is I can actually walk up, touch the actual green square here, and it's going to pop up a reserve button. So that's really cool, right? So that's the advantage of an all-in-one, having it right there at the front of the office. So a lot of work we put into that to make it super simple to go back in the office and reserve spaces. The greatest thing here is we are actually not charging for this, which is kind of like blew me away, because I said, hey, look, this is something that there's third-party software out there that you can actually, go and you have to purchase licenses and you have to configure it. It's a whole separate platform. We are not, as long as you guys have one Zoom Room license, it entitles you to unlimited digital signage, unlimited workspace reservation application. So this is something that we just have as part of the platform. Same place you go and you manage your Zoom meetings, Zoom rooms, Zoom phone. It's the same place you go and you configure this workspace reservations. So very powerful what we could do with workspace reservations and the DTEN all-in-ones. So we're just getting started there, right? You don't need third-party hardware any longer.
Absolutely. And I love how you just, brought up the power of touch again, right? It's just a completely different experience when you have that at your disposal. You find yourself involved in that touch environment more and more and more. The adoption goes through the roof, and it just kind of, between the new whiteboard and what we're going to show you with those features, and then this new map where you can reserve your workspace with the tap of a button, it's just really powerful, and it's definitely a huge differentiator between any sort of type of setup you might be looking at compared to a touchscreen in that all-in-one environment. So really excited about this. Glad we get to kind of start to show a little preview of what's going on your guys' side, what this is going to look like, and then we'll follow up next month with a full walkthrough on workspaces, workspace reservations, and all that great stuff that we're going to deploy together. Jackson, let's show a little video here for everyone. These are some of my favorite parts, right? Because you actually see a real environment. Slides are great. They help us get the point across, but the video really drives what that experience is going to be like in real life. So let's punch over to another video and we'll get cracking on our next
We have what's called a phone booth here. And we've developed this phone booth over here with the DTEN. This is the same device, by the way, that we use at the front of the tour. And this device right here, this is our little phone booth. I can come in here, relax, and have a private session. I don't have to be in an open environment. It's only me or one other person.
Sorry about that, some technical difficulties. Just a moment here.
Real quick, Mark, we did get quite a few questions while Jackson's doing that on workspaces, right? It's obviously going to be extremely popular. There's a couple questions here in the Q&A specifically about those desks, the assignment, can they be statically assigned, as well as the dynamic approach of kind of grabbing them on the fly.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So, we're always asked, do I have to have a Zoom room in a particular conference room or space? And the answer is no. So if you guys just want to go ahead and assign, a resource to an actual desk that has nothing on it, we could do that with workspace reservations. So obviously there's not going to be a touch interface there when I walk up to it. However, you can go onto the web interface that we're going to have, and you can schedule it right from your mobile device, your Mac or your PC, where you'll have a floor plan. And you can go to that desk, reserve it for yourself from whatever time you have it. So you don't need to have a Zoom room. We'd love for you to have Zoom rooms everywhere. However, you can schedule an actual conference room as well that doesn't have any Zoom rooms in there. So you'll have that capability on the fly to do that. And of course, if you have the all-in-one at the front of the room or in a space, you can assign the floor plan, which that makes it super simple to walk up and schedule those spaces. But workspace reservations is something that we'll be able to do with or without Zoom rooms.
Well,
And
sick of
also,
the spaces now.
Yep, that last question there is, around calendar integration. So the same fantastic calendar integration you guys already have with Outlook, with Gmail, all those will still be available. And you're using that calendar resource, correct, to reserve those spaces like you normally would.
Yeah, the calendar is your true north, right? So we're always integrating to a calendar.
Developed this
Absolutely.
phone booth over here with the DTEN. This is the same device, by the way, that we used at the front of the tour. And this device right here, this is our little phone booth. I can come in here, relax, and have a private session. I don't have to be in an open environment. If it's only me or one other person, this is really cool with the phone booth and what we can accomplish here. Now, again, just like in the huddle space, I could do a lot of things locally, or I'm getting a call here. I'm going to join the actual meeting, the webinar, from this device as well. So bear with me here. What's going to happen now is I'm going to be escalated as a panelist. You wouldn't have to do that step in a normal meeting, but we'll switch over right now. Bear with me. Scott, how you doing?
Hey, fantastic, sir. Appreciate the call.
Yep, awesome. So now you guys are seeing me right now, actually in a call. So, you know, I'm talking to Scott right now. I can quickly pivot as well. So Scott, you know, let's talk a little bit more about our floor plans. We need you guys to send us some more DTEN devices here. So, you know, we have these conference rooms that we filled out, but we have more that are on the way. And so I just want to make sure that you know that we need one over here. We need one over here, and we already have these already filled out, so you know we're good there. So just wanted to give you the heads up on what we're doing here on our phone booth. How cool is this that we're doing this on the fly, and now Scott's going to send me some gear over here. Hopefully some free gear, right, Scott? Or never, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, just to highlight that, I'm also annotating into this environment. So you'll see both of us can be interactive in this whiteboarding feature. So it looks like you're green to go, Mark. You've got 6 new devices headed your way. You know, there's nothing better than you and I, Mark, than 2 pairs of you and I, right? That never gets old. Yep. And I think that's great. The phone booth thing, when we're talking to facility managers, right? Uber critical, I think, in their plans and their strategy to return people back. So if you'd like, talk a little bit about that phone booth and what you're seeing from the customer side on that technology and the deployment.
Yeah, so I mean, we're seeing a lot of kind of open environment concepts. And you know, even here we have what we call our flex spaces, which is an open environment cubicles. And it's cool because I get to be around everyone and collaborate with all the Zoomies here. However, every now and then I need a little bit of privacy. So first and foremost, we want to keep that collaboration, open space look and feel. But when I do need a little bit of privacy, we have our phone booths. And so I can quickly get into a phone booth, jump on a DTEN ME. By the way, since we created that video, we've already taken it to the next level where we can actually do the hot desking capability, right? So if I want to walk into a phone booth early in the day and actually, you know, essentially pair to it with, hoteling or hot desking. Once I do that, it has my own calendar, it has my own contacts. So, you know, any meeting that I already have in my calendar, which we use Gmail, but it could be Exchange or it could be Office 365. It'll appear right on that device as my own. And you know, when my meeting pops up, I have that one button to push to start the meeting. So really cool what I could do in phone booths. Of course, I get that privacy. So if I'm in an open environment where it's really noisy, I get to go in there and use the DTEN ME, whether it's, you know, on the fly and do things like, you know, switch from one device to another. Really quickly, what I could do there is quite amazing, actually. And we use it quite a bit when I want to jump in there and take advantage of the larger real estate there of the 27-inch ME capability. So a lot of cool stuff. And you know, you guys have added things to the DTEN ME Pro, which is like the USB pass-through. So if I want to jump in there and have a third party, you know, call with another thing like Teams or WebEx, I can quickly do that as well. So, you know, a perfect world, everybody uses Zoom here, but, you know, that's not reality. There are other meeting platforms out there. And it's essential that you have these, the capability to jump in there and have a WebEx meeting or have also a Teams meeting. So we have that capability now with the DTEN ME Pro. So.
And there are some questions starting to pop up, right? Because we did mention hot desking and hoteling and reserving these things. So the questions are starting to pop off, and we're definitely prepared to dive more into that as we go along. But there are multiple environments that you can be in with Zoom and DTEN. So like Mark said, you can be in a Zoom room environment directly on the device where you're logging in with your personal license or your Zoom room license, and you can be fully in that environment. Or we have our Smart Connect, which is a USB-C and HDMI connection that lets you drive that experience from your own device. And that kind of gives us a good segue into that inclusion and that consistency across technology. And that is using the DTEN Me at home. And it was originally designed as Zoom for Home, a device for remote workers where they could have all the tools and all the features that they would get in the office and a 27-inch device right on their desk at home. And that's another reason why this device is so powerful. So you can supercharge that productivity and collaboration by bringing your advanced whiteboarding, your company contacts and resources, your collaboration and your meeting tools home with you. And that's going to give you the same experience at home as you would in a super expensive conference room if you were back in the office. And I think that's why we're doing so well with our customers, because we're hitting all those key points in their in their decision-making process as they're looking at both Zoom rooms and DTEN. We're kind of giving them the most flexible options to deploy literally anywhere to stay connected and collaborate. So like we talked about, this DTEN Me, everything you need is in there. So you're going to have a very high quality camera. You're going to have the microphone array, that touch screen, which you'll find yourself using more and more and more. And then also that Smart Connect. So use it as your second monitor, use it as a Zoom room, use it as your personal Zoom room device, or drive other environments from your own device. So one of the most versatile products in the ecosystem on staying productive and connecting regardless of where you are. So we've gotten personal, right? We've talked about your virtual receptionist. We've talked about your phone booth, your hot desk. We've talked about working from home, and that's all super powerful and what everyone's looking for. But it has to work in combination with the devices and with the experiences that you have in the office. So, we know simplicity matters. We've touched base on that. We use these mixed use shared spaces because it is an all-in-one. So you're in a meeting, then you're whiteboarding. There's all sorts of different environments you can be in. And then, the ability to share, I think, is super important. And you guys have put this at the top of the list, the ability to share amongst team members so you can collaborate. And we'll talk about that here, how powerful that can actually be. So the great thing about these whiteboards, right, we can start to recall those saved whiteboards. People can start picking up where they left off. So you can start this project at home. You can recall it when you're in the office. You can share this out with different team members so everyone can collaborate on the same project. And that's really what a lot of decision makers are looking for while they're starting to choose new devices. The new Zoom whiteboard. So Mark, I don't know about you, but I'm super excited about this. Being an all-in-one, being a whiteboard company, being able to help you guys deliver this new feature is really exciting. And I know our customers are just really looking forward to all the advancements that you guys have brought to the new Zoom whiteboard.
Yeah, and like I mentioned earlier, we've had whiteboarding in the past. It's just that we've wanted to add additional advancements to the actual whiteboard itself. It was very basic before, right? We had different colors, we had different, different thickness of lines you can do, very basic stuff that you would do in a normal dry erase marker. However, I had the question earlier in chat where, are we going to be doing integrations to Miro and Mural? And yes, the answer is absolutely. We have Zoom apps already today where you can integrate Mural and Miro, and those are great products. And what we're finding when we're talking to our clients is a lot of power users and organizations use those applications like Miro and Figma, some others. So, we're not going to close the feature gap those from day one. But what we're looking to do is really create this advanced whiteboard and easy enough so that it's able, we're able to use it with more users instead of just focusing on power users. So I think that's really the difference of what we're doing here. So the new Zoom whiteboard features, we'll have things like infinite canvas, right? So right off the bat, if we run out of real estate, right now, you have to actually click on a new page and you leave the page you had before. So with infinite canvas, you don't have to do that any longer. You could simply pinch and zoom and you can continue on your workflow. So you can have one giant whiteboard with multiple work streams happening. So that's really cool what we're doing there. Don't have to create a new space every time. Persistent as well. So today, when we're done, what happens is I actually can email it out or save it in a chat. But when I save my current whiteboard right now, what happens is it saves it as an image, a JPEG image. What we're going to do now with persistent is it's going to save to a chat session, and it's a living whiteboard. So I can open it back up and I can continue to erase or add new stuff on the fly versus it being just a static image where I can no longer erase anything. So really cool with persistent. Drag and drop images as well. We don't have the capability today to add images in our whiteboard. Now we will. So we'll be able to have images, import them, put them in there so we can build more storyboard-like. It's not, when we start getting there, it's becoming more than just a whiteboard, right? It's becoming more like a collaboration tool versus, the word whiteboard. So, all these things we're adding. Sticky notes, another big thing that was requested. Shapes and connectors, we'll have that. So as we do have our shapes and diagrams, we're able to move them around and the connections will stay on there. So really cool what we're doing. And then of course, the biggest thing here is, DTEN team, I know you guys will always like for everybody to stay on the DTEN devices when you do this, but that's not what, we designed it for. We designed it so that you can be on a DTEN device, take advantage of this, but also if you're on an iPad or an Android tablet, you can work there. If you're on a Mac or your PC, you can storyboard there with this. So really powerful, working across a lot of variety of devices versus just keeping it on just, a standard whiteboard. So that's really the power of what we brought here is the capability to work across different platforms, which again, with hybrid workforce, you might not have access to an all-in-one. So, you'll be able to be at home, collaborate with everybody with your tablet or your Mac or PC. So really cool what we're doing with the new Zoom whiteboard.
Absolutely. So without further ado, let's give everyone a little update on what this is going to look like.
An idea can start anywhere, but ideas become something bigger when collaboration happens. Zoom whiteboards allow you to collaborate in real time and continue the project after meeting with your colleagues. It's easy for people anywhere to contribute to the same project, like escalating a call to a Zoom room. Collaborate with innovative features that make it simple for hybrid teams to interact in new ways, like using your tablet in companion mode. The easy-to-share and easy-to-access persistent Zoom whiteboard means you can pick up right where you left off. Collaborate together in a Zoom Rooms for Touch. Add sticky notes, images, and annotations where needed. Or you can fully contribute to projects on Zoom Whiteboard, on your laptop, your mobile device, in different locations. The Zoom Rooms for Touch whiteboard works as an extension of your virtual canvas, allowing groups of people to work on the same project together. And because Zoom Whiteboard's infinite canvas is virtual, users will be able to interact through a range of devices. Walk into any Zoom room and share your content wirelessly. It's advanced collaboration using the same easy-to-use and reliable video technology you know and love. With Zoom Whiteboard, get more done together.
That just makes me want to clap as enthusiastically as the people in that video, right? That's some great stuff. And, knowing that, early next year, we'll be able to push this to all existing DTEN devices, as well as have this available on new device purchases and new deployments. So really exciting stuff with your new whiteboard. So I do want to kind of call out something new that we're bringing out right now called our DTEN Go with Mate. And really what this does, it allows you to enable an existing display but turn that into a D10 touch experience at the same time. So if you have different facilities, different rooms that might have a display in there, it's non-touch, but you would still like to use that existing hardware, the DTEN Go and Mate is a perfect candidate for how to video enable this room. So it is an AV bar that goes on top of your display, which brings you all of the the nice cameras, the microphones, everything that you expect from a D10 device is inside this bar. But the real kicker is the Mate, and the Mate is our handheld tablet, which we have wireless screen sharing. It's D10 technology that's built into this that actually allows you to walk around the room and annotate and use the whiteboarding features on your tablet, which will be shared to that screen, shared throughout the meeting. So even though your existing device is not touchscreen, we still put you into that D10 environment and allow you to annotate and whiteboard from the Mate tablet, which is really exciting. And we've seen this just kind of explode the possibilities on how our customers are able to video enable spaces, but still have all the tools from Zoom rooms and whiteboarding right there in the palm of their hand. So we went through today on our new flexible hybrid office. Just keep in mind, we're designing for flexibility, we're designing for inclusion, we're designing for that simplicity and that ease of use. And as you've seen today, a D10 device with Zoom rooms is going to enable you to check off all of those boxes. So that consistent experience across any sort of environment, from working from home to being in a large, very expensive conference room, you can have a consistent experience in all of those features and all of those tools at your fingertips, regardless of where you decide to work. And then we're enabling that real-time collaboration. So you can invite participants, you can collaborate, you can whiteboard together, work on projects together, brainstorm, and all of that's in real time, regardless of physical location. So very powerful stuff, Mark. And I think that, we have both used our time very, very wisely in the last year and a half to develop just some really critical tools that I think our customers are going to use when they deploy a return to an office safely. So lastly, we'll wrap up any questions here. We did get some questions in the chat about, will this meeting be recorded? Absolutely, we are recording now. If you registered for this, you will receive a link in your email. But what we'd really like to do is invite everyone for that one-on-one consultation. So we'd like to get you in a meeting with solution experts, with people that can really help you design a successful deployment as you return to the office. So there's a very easy way to do that. You just pick up your phone, you open the camera. If you scan that QR code, it's going to take you directly to a page where you can request that one-on-one, and we'll bring in D10 experts, Zoom room experts, whatever you need to make you feel comfortable in your decision-making process and give you some of the strategies that are working really, really well for our current customers.
Cool. Now I want to say thank you again. We had a couple of technical difficulties, so I just wanted to apologize for that this morning to everybody. But like Scott was saying, if you do have any questions remaining, we didn't get to it. We answered quite a few as we went along. Don't hesitate to reach out. Right, we're standing by to talk to you, and we want to make sure that you get the best solutions for your applications of Zoom and Zoom rooms.
Mark, as always, appreciate it, sir. Thank you for joining
Likewise.
us.
Thanks for putting this together, D10 team, and we look forward to getting more Zoom rooms out there and collaborating and enabling the hybrid workforce.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Yeah.